as the leash is tied. On a warm and sunny suburban morning, a whole bunch of doggy owners adjourn to the dog park.
In the dog park.
And the frisbees fly. As every owner tries to guess the breed of the black or the spotted who did the deed in the dog park.
In the dog park.
Lady, don't you understand? Your puppy needs a guiding hand, or he'll grow to bite you right in the can someday. He's wrapped you around a tree. Why don't you let him free? Do you let go of the leash or get pulled in the fray? All the yellowed ferns. And another crazy dog with a cold, wet nose runs in the field where every other dog goes, in the dog park.
In the dog park.
And his freedom churns. So he chases the ball with all his might, and he learns how to growl and he learns how to bite in the dog park.
In the dog park.
In an unplanned altercation, the big one breaks his leash. He drops a deuce, he steals a ball, he tries to run, but he hits the wall, and his owner screams. As the dog ignores all his owner's commands, hey, look, that dumb lady's got treats in her hand in the dog park.
In the dog park.
And the chihuahuas yie.
In the dog park.
On a warm and sunny suburban morning, another tennis ball has gone airborne in the dog park.
In the dog park.
And the frisbees fly.
In the dog park. In the dog park. In the dog park. In the dog park.
Welcome to CounterCultureWISE, a Stormcat production, with your hosts Melanie Hope and James Monis. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on CounterCultureWISE.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're watching our live show, hit like and join the chat. If you're listening dead, well, you can still hit like, share, subscribe, and comment, but please stop voting Democrat. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another CounterCultureWISE broadcast!
Hi, 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 beautiful Sunday. This is my beautiful day. When you say that you love me. Oh, my, it's a beautiful girl.
If we don't get DMCA'd for the dog park, we'll get DMCA'd for that. But that was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, my name is Melanie Hope. I am your hostess for this evening's festivities, and the beautiful, sultry tones that you just heard are those of my co-host, my husband, my very best friend, and my sweet babu, Mr. James Moder.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Everyone knows Murphy's Law, where anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, but have you heard of Cole's Law?
Like Cole's the sporting goods store?
No, it's thinly sliced cabbage.
Coleslaw. You got me. I need one of those things. I need a button then.
Okay, I did it for you, so you don't have to.
All right. Well, on that note, folks, drop everything and make sure you hit the like, the share, the subscribe, share the news, spread the word, and all the stuff and the things there, and head on over to CounterCultureWISE.com where you can see and watch and touch and feel and all that good stuff. No matter what platform you're listening on. Hey. Thank you. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. We do. We're working to make this an even better show for 2025.
Yeah, we've got so many things in the fire. You just wait.
We have interviews. We have sketches. We have all kinds of fun things coming up in the coming months. And by the way, before we continue, I do want to warn you. I'm a little under the weather right now, and I'm going to try not to cough my lungs out.
I don't have a cough button.
Yeah, I don't. By the time I'm able to say.
He's already coughing into the mic. Yeah,
sneezed or coughed, and it's too late. And
yeah,
it's just
Maybe that's folks. Head on over to CounterCultureWISE.com and contribute to the cough button fund.
Yes, formerly the beer fund. Formerly, yes. I don't know.
And if you hear any loud chirpy noises, it's because I have the most gorgeous cardinal right outside the window, and he's very happy because I just refilled all the bird feeders after the squirrels tipped them all over and actually chewed them to pieces. So
we got renegade squirrels.
We do.
We got the mean old.
Yeah. So now the bird feeder
squirrel
is held up by actual chain and metal, and there's mothballs all over the bird feeders because the birds don't care, but the squirrels supposedly don't like them. We'll see. And we bought squirrel food, so maybe we can lure the squirrels away. We'll see how this goes. I set up a really interesting little scenario. Yeah. So that it's actually tethered between two trees, and it kind of swings and moves and shifts, and it's got a bowl of food, squirrel food.
I think one squirrel will probably knock it all over for the rest of them.
Probably that's what's gonna. We'll see. And we'll give it a shot. And the squirrel feeder right now is occupied in the distance, so that's nice. And that's the one where they have to actually lift the little lid and get food out of it. And there is a squirrel on it as we speak. So at least there's that. So if the squirrels are over there eating their deer corn and peanuts and mixture of nonsense that I put out there, maybe they'll leave the bird feeders alone. Because
I'm not counting on it, but let's hope.
We'll try. And if all of that doesn't work, Sadie really does love chasing the squirrels.
Yeah, she does. She does.
So we'll just set up a squirrel.
The squirrels hate it, but that dog chases them all.
If we didn't have to get up and let her out every time, that'd be swell. So maybe we'll install the squirrel chasing door and just let her go for it.
That'd be nice.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have got quite the show prepared for you today. We thought we'd have a little bit of fun. And even though it is technically Sunday and no longer Black Friday, there's still people out there shopping, and we are not those people.
Yeah, we went shopping yesterday, but we stayed away from the
grocery shopping.
We stayed away from the
I am not
traps like
I
Target and
am
Walmart.
not into Black Friday at all. I have never done that in my entire life. I have no desire.
We accidentally did Thursday, like Thanksgiving night at a Walmart because we needed some groceries. We'd forgotten that it was Thanksgiving night.
It wasn't as bad as it could have been.
No, they were. It was mostly them setting up the TVs.
Right.
And it's a cliche, but I swear to God, the cheapest TVs in the world come out of the woodwork on Thanksgiving.
And we don't care because we don't own a television, so never will. No interest.
I won't say never. I'll never say never.
Okay, well, I say never because I have no interest, and there's nothing on television anyway. So
one thing before we start cracking on the Black Friday,
cracking on the blacking.
I did have an interview yesterday with Anthony D'Agostino, Dr. Anthony
D'Agostino, yes,
about his book Prejudice, Racism, and Tribalism. I did read the book. I did learn a few things, and although he and I were on opposite sides politically about a lot of things, we found a lot of common ground, and I think we've had a really, really entertaining and enlightening interview. And that's going to be either this Wednesday or the following
Probably
Wednesday.
this Wednesday, yeah.
Probably this Wednesday.
Our ultimate goal is to have an interview every Wednesday. We do not have one lined up for the following Wednesday, but we are going to be interviewing folks fast and furiously because there's a lot of authors, musicians, and fun people out there that we want to learn more about. I mean, we're no Joe Rogan, but you know.
I don't know if I'm not going to say I don't know if I want to be Joe Rogan.
Everybody wants to be Joe Rogan.
Everybody wants to be Joe Rogan.
Who knows? Maybe someday Trump will be on our show. That'd be awesome. Can you imagine the Trump motorcade coming all the way the frig out here?
No, I really can't. We'd probably have to take the show to him, but
probably.
I don't think he'd.
We'd have to Kamala the show, and
the motorcade would get lost.
Yeah, they get real. Yeah, and I don't think they could secure the perimeter. Well, the great thing though is where we are located, the perimeter would pretty much be secured because you got a bunch of rednecks with a lot of guns, and we've got your back. We've got your six, Mr. President. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Congratulations again on winning the election. So.
Yes. Every aspect of it.
We're not going to spend too much time on
Yeah, and that's the great thing is now that we're a little bit more optimistic, we don't have to spend so much time on politics.
Chuck is still going.
Chuck is still going to have
has a job.
Yeah, Chuck still has a job. He is just so much more relieved, and I'm telling you, I've been mixing him weaker and weaker martinis. I might actually wean him off
he actually
altogether.
Seemed sober the other day.
Yeah.
And I mean, he didn't even ask me for a drink when he came into the office.
Yeah, usually he starts drinking around 10 a.m.
He wanted cheese and crackers and a Diet Dr. Pepper. Well, that's my favorite snack, so I had plenty to.
There you go. Yeah.
Provide him. So we
Have we ever seen you and Chuck in the same room? I'm just wondering. Yeah, we'll
that's
see.
a mystery, isn't it? I'll never say.
Anyways, do check out our Holy Crap This Is Actually Happening YouTube channel, or you can find us all over the place. We're on BitChute. We are on Rumble. We have a locals platform. We are even on Odyssey, so check us out everywhere. You can find fine podcasts.
You can also reach us on multiple
audio only, such as iHeart, Spotify,
multiple social media.
Social medias. We got the Twatters. We've got the Facebook, sort of.
Yeah, Facebook.
We got the.
I'm personal. One of my personal accounts is on Blue Sky. If you want to catch up with my
Blue
photography,
Sky,
Bible verses and stuff, because that's all I'm using it for at the moment.
Do I see? There's nobody on there. It's like
we're on Minds. We're on.
It's like shrieking liberals and tumbleweeds. It's hilarious. Few trolls, but yeah, I'm not really on there either.
Well, I just love it that all these guys did the online version of moving to Canada, and they all moved from X to Blue Sky. And it's like they find themselves being targeted, and then it's
trolled. They're being trolled.
Big time trolled.
Yeah.
So Blue Sky is not the liberal haven you think it is.
Well, what's really funny is they're so upset that Twitter has, as they say, become this right-wing conspiracy theory, this, that, and the other.
Free speech.
And it's still, I believe it's still like 58% liberal.
Yeah.
They still have the majority there.
As it would be on social media.
So they don't like their own, they don't even like their own voice. It's hilarious.
It's crazy.
Anyways, we don't want to talk too much about that. Let's get into some horror stories. We should have done
Tales of modern horror.
Yeah, we should have done a Black Friday tale of modern horror.
We'll do that next year.
I don't think we've ever done that before.
We'll do that for next
there's
year.
still time for Christmas. Isn't that the movie Jingle All the Way?
Yeah, I never saw that.
So I thought rather than, since we have some fun, well, maybe not so fun, interesting stories about Black Friday, and I thought rather than, just having y'all sit there looking at words, that I would play you a
retrospective.
Yeah, let's just do a nice little what's the word I'm looking for? What is that called? Where it flips through the videos. I can't think of the thing now. Don't you hate it when you know the word? Anyways, it flips awfully fast.
A collection of
No, it's that what is that called? Where it goes through in fact, I even had to press the button. Thank you, slideshow. Why could I not think of that word to save my life? Okay, so I figured I'd play a slideshow of Thanksgiving images that you can watch.
Norman Rockwell.
Yeah,
mostly.
well, they're all Norman Rockwell. It's all basically, and as you saw, we even did our own version there. So we'll let you watch that while we read these. Do you want to start, or would you like me to start?
Yeah, we're going to go back and forth. These are nightmare tales of Black Friday. Years ago, I got hired as a seasonal help for Toys R Us. It was before they redesigned the stores into, it says the current mess, but they really isn't the current mess anymore.
Yeah, there's no Toys R Us anymore.
There's one or two.
So that is a
on the
current
East
mess
Coast
if you
or
really want to
something.
think about it.
And everything was in long aisles. I got stuck in aisle 1, which is board games on one side. I remember that. I love the board game.
Me too, yeah.
Well, that was my
And the
favorite
hippity
part.
hops.
And the big glass case of video games on the other. This was the year that Super Nintendo came out, so we had one behind the glass with a controller outside, so you could try out Super Mario Land. I'm up on a ladder getting more copies of Crocodile Dentist down to restock the lower
Crocodile
shelves.
Dentist?
And here's some yelling. I look down, 2 kids are shoving each other in front of the SNES. They start swinging at each other, and the parents intervene only to start fighting themselves. I slide down the ladder, and my manager rushes over to try and stop things from getting worse. One of the parents had a bat, a baseball bat.
What?
Not a Batman bat. Had a bat in his cart and hits the other guy square in the back.
What?
Knocking him into the display cabinet, shattering the glass, and cutting him up really good.
Oh my gosh.
The guy with the bat realizes what he did and grabs his kids and tries to make a run for the door. Management is trying to block him from leaving as they go and manage to get the cop that is outside directing traffic. The police come in and wrestle this guy to the ground while his kids watch. He resists and gets a serious beatdown in the middle of the store. The other guy that went through the glass is cut up and bleeding really bad. He ends up losing an eye over the whole thing. After this is all over, we have to lock up the SNES, and you can only try it out if management opens a case for you. The other really messed up part of this whole thing is that people are taking toys out of the cut-up man's cart as EMS works on him, and his kid sits there crying. One woman even tries to take the blood-splattered demo SNES out of the broken case to try to buy for her kid. People are heartless, mindless sheep when it comes to cheap crap. Ever since this, I spend my Black Fridays at home.
I guess so. Wow. So that got 1,700 votes as being horrifying. I'm going to give that, it's 1,715th vote. Okay. This one's short and sweet. My first Black Friday, I was working at a Walmart. I was assigned to be one of the employees that would cut open the plastic on the pallets which contained our merchandise, which were all on the floor. As I readied a box cutter, I got shoved by a customer, fell right on it, and sliced my hand open. After getting through that and patching it up, I came out on the floor and promptly got punched in the face when I picked up a DVD off the ground. A customer apparently wanted it. And this person ends with F Black Friday. People, come on. You're just buying stuff. And if you don't understand how little that means to reality, go watch George Carlin talk about stuff.
Yeah. Get the George Carlin album, A Place for My Stuff.
Yes.
And listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And for every time you feel the need to engage in extreme materialism like this,
Just listen to that.
Just listen to that album instead.
Yeah.
I worked one Black Friday in the clothes department at Walmart. For like 2 straight hours before the sale began, people hovered over the pallets. The alarm went off and the swarm just went insane. There were 2 women in particular on opposite sides, tossing clothes back and forth to each other. I don't know what their system was because half the stuff they were just catching and tossing aside. But this little teenager, petite, tiny girl, intercepted a pair of jeans being tossed, and the women went insane and elbowed her in the face. Instant blood, and the little girl was so shocked, she just stood there shaking and crying. The women acted like that was a perfectly reasonable thing to do. I pulled her out of the crowd and started to walk her to get her cleaned up when the sheriff appeared out of nowhere. The best part was she was this kid.
His kid.
She was his kid.
Yeah.
And the women were arrested on the spot.
They snatched the sheriff's kid.
They had to post bail and pay full price for the
crappy Levi's.
I'm using, because they don't hold back on the language here.
They are not holding back on the language, but we are. I worked at Walmart. Why is it always Walmart? Oh,
because
the next one isn't.
Everybody shops at Walmart. There's no more retailer in the
world.
world.
Because there's no,
We're talking about them in a little
It's either
while,
that or
too.
Amazon, and there's no Black Friday on an Amazon, right? I worked at Walmart for 4 years and worked all Black Fridays. I've seen a woman hit another woman in the chest with those toddler car boxes you drive in. a woman got hit was a week or two post-op of open heart surgery. Lots of blood right in front of me. No idea what happened to the other woman who hit her. I do think she got the toy car purchased and left.
This is one of my favorites.
Lord.
This is one of my favorites. I worked at Best Buy for 6 years. Everyone knows about the lines that you stand in outside. Part of the process is once you get into the store, you stand in another line to buy your products. Our manager thought he was particularly smart winding the line through our appliance department. Mind you, there are usually 1,500 plus people in the building at 6 a.m. with the line still outside. Well, we got a complaint from one of our patrons. After checking the dryers, we found a nice turd in one. Good size, solid consistency, just sitting there. A lady who did not want to lose her spot opened the dryer and shat right there in front of everyone. I decided that day, even though I may want stuff, I will never put it in front of an entire crowd of people for a $799 50-inch plasma TV.
What planet are these people from?
Earth. Absolutely Earth.
What third world freaking... Oh, L.A. This old lady wanted a cancer pink ribbon fabric. So let's see, it doesn't say where. As she ultimately tackled, And the woman she ultimately tackled had called ahead and ordered a bulk amount of it because she works for a cancer organization and makes blankets for cancer patients. I can already tell this is going to be awful. The woman was wheeling a cart in the store with several large bolts of the fabric in it. So this must be a
be like Michael's or
something like one of those.
Lobby or something.
Which she had special ordered, and we put it in the cart for her so she could continue shopping. Old lady sees that this woman has all the bolts, and it isn't right that she's hogging the entire stock of that particular print. The woman explains the situation and that she in fact special ordered these, and that the reason she was coming in on Black Friday to purchase them is because they were a major Black Friday promotion at 60% off. That is significant. The old lady continues to yell at the poor woman. The woman very calmly keeps trying to reassure her that she is not taking any of the store stock and that she makes blankets for dying women with breast cancer. She's a very sweet store regular who pays out of pocket for all the blankets, and so my store held the fabric for her until Black Friday when she would come in and purchase them with her coupon. The old lady doesn't give a whips out mace and tackle. Mace? Really? Over fabric? And tackles the woman. The old lady gets kicked out of the store. She would come in once every couple of months, give me the stink eye, and then rebelliously write down recipes from the home and food magazine so she wouldn't have to buy them. Then she'd scurry out and come back in a few months.
Oh, my God. This one year when I was 15, I worked at where else? Walmart doing shelf stocking. Once again, we have a good story about Walmart later on.
I had to look up the crocodile dentist game.
Oh, okay.
It's a thing, and apparently you can still buy it.
You work on the teeth of a...
Yeah, apparently it doesn't take any batteries or anything. Let's see, I can probably bring this over here so you can see it. It doesn't take any batteries or anything, and there's a video on some. I doubt if we can hear it, but let's see. So apparently,
Crocodile dentist.
I don't know if you can hear it or not.
Which tooth is bothering poor Croc?
The crocodile had braces.
Take turns pressing Croc's teeth, but watch out. If you press the wrong one, he will
he
snap
snaps
and
you.
you're out. It's a different tooth each time.
Oh, okay. Cute.
Great for travel. No loose parts, batteries, or reading required. Super fun for ages 4 and up.
And that's all they do is just press on his teeth. Okay, that's cute.
That's cute.
Crocodile
Okay,
dentist.
so it is a thing.
They would
Now we
find it
know.
interesting for about a year and then toss
They'd
it.
probably find it interesting for about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Anyway, this one year when I was 15, I worked at Walmart doing shelf stocking. This time we happened to have this doll on sale for $19.99. Toys R Us had the same doll for $79.99. Oh boy, I know where this is going. Between 2003 and 2004. Anyway, people knew about this. I mean, people were lined up outside 5 hours before we opened. They weren't just your regular bargain shoppers. They were a bunch of middle-aged women who've been standing in the cold for 5 hours for this doll. And, of course, the new normal bargain shoppers in the mix also. 15 minutes before open, we started hearing this loud bang, so a few of us went to see what's happening. They were ramming the door. 200 cold people were trying to take down the gate to the kingdom. 5 minutes later, you heard the loud snap. They broke through the doors.
Oh, no.
Everybody rushed in the store. Though it was not open yet and nobody was at their cash register, it didn't matter. People thought it was okay to go in through the door that popped off its hinges.
Oh, dear.
I've never seen anything like it. I've worked retail in total now for almost 10 years. First, we had to call an ambulance as there was one of our elderly customers, a very nice old man who always made people smile. He was near the front entrance in the front line of the Battle of the Bargains, or Barbarians.
Yeah.
He fell to the floor and got run over by countless people.
And this isn't even for stuff that you get for free. This is for stuff that people still have to buy.
I know. Nobody stopped to help. He just got stepped on. He had a broken hip, broken ribs, and countless bruises and cuts after getting stepped on with high heels. At the same time this was happening, I headed over to the toy section where the 3 pallets of these dolls were sitting. And what did I see? A crazy woman swinging her cane violently, claiming the whole lot of them, screaming things like, I've been here for 8 hours, I brought $5,000, and I'm getting them all. If you want some, you're going to buy it from me.
Fair enough.
Okay, fair enough. She was crazy and hit 2 employees along with many customers. Our security guard, Robin, was there, though. Small, but she was built. She was trained in martial arts, but you'd never know because she wore baggy clothes. Robin went up to the front of the crowd and just said, this is strike 2. I want you to leave now or else I'm having you removed. Of course, she screams out, bring it on, you can't take me. Big mistake. So Robin did the most unusual thing I've ever seen. She slowly walked up to her, put her hands in her pockets, and threw 3 or 4 bouncy balls on the floor. Crazy lady was a little thrown off and looked at the balls. Robin snapped the cane out of her hands while simultaneously smacking her with it on her arm. She spun her around and held her arms behind her back, no cuffs, until the cops showed up a minute later. The rest went pretty well. We sold out of dolls in minutes, a limit of 1 per customer.
I like the bouncy ball idea. I might use that.
That actually is pretty cool.
And go, Robin. Oh, I get another short one from a deleted user.
They're all
They're all from a deleted.
Some of these are pretty old.
Yeah, GameStop. Yeah,
GameStop and
it's pretty
Toys
old.
R Us.
Yeah,
this is old stuff.
I was a GameStop worker when the Y. Did I almost just call it a Y? Why,
yes.
oh why? When the Wii came out. You know, I never got to play with the Wii.
Never?
Never.
I never have either.
Yeah.
I haven't played on a like, what's the other one? The Sony one. PlayStation. I've never played on a PlayStation.
We played Mario Kart when my brother was around.
I played Nintendo in the 80s when I was a young adult.
I played Pong.
I play Homescapes on my phone. That's about it.
Yeah, that's not a thing. I play Wordle.
I'm at level 6,800 now.
Oh wow.
Homescapes. I think she made it to what, 50?
Me?
Yeah.
Yawn. It was boring. Okay, I was a GameStop worker when the Wii came out. The second we unlocked the doors, it was a riot. People were fighting one another, swearing, crying, just about everything. People were so desperate. When people managed to get one, somebody would throw the other person to the ground and buy it. And that sounds about right. And, don't they do that with iPhones too? Every time a new iPhone comes out, everybody spazzes out and lines up for them.
It's just another slightly better piece of crap phone. I don't get it. But anyway. Someone punched a security guard in the face because he thought he was a customer skipping to the front of the line. He was just walking in the door to start his shift. So yeah, my town has those kind of people in it.
Wish I knew what town that was. Oh, Furbies!
Yay, Furbies!
Another Toys R Us story. My mom had a Furby. My mom had a Furby. She actually thought the thing learned. They don't learn, people. They are not AI. They try to convince you, but they're really not. I worked at Toys R Us when the original Furby came out. I walked in the back doors right before my shift when the doors were supposedly open. Or supposed to be open. I had people follow me in and assault me trying to get a dumb Furby. Then when the doors finally did open, one parent pushed my coworker to the ground and jumped on top of a pile of people to get one from the display. She ended up kicking some poor schmuck in the head, grabbed a Furby, stuffed it down her shirt, and tried to casually walk out and steal it. I wish they would have finished that story.
Oh, boy. This one is astounding to me. I did read some of these before I posted it. I was working for a media play during Black Friday. They were going out of business, so there were liquidation prices, no sale prices. We had made a tower of MP3 players that were moderately priced and put them by the front door. I think they were $20 each or something like that. This was back when 512 megabyte ones were just starting to be phased out. Boy, that is ancient. But anyway, People start to line up outside the door at 4 a.m. We don't even open until our normal 10 a.m. time. At about 8 a.m., they start to bang on the door. My manager explains that we won't be open for another 2 hours, and things start to get a little rough outside. At 10 a.m., we open the doors. Leading the pack is an elderly woman who looked to be about 100, sporting a walker. She waddles into the store, running, in quotes, with her walker, and dives for the MP3 player pyramid we'd set up, literally throwing herself into it with her arms out, frantically grabbing all she can get her hands on. She hits the ground hard, and people start to flood the store. A few of them step on her.
Oh, man.
Being the normal retail zealots we are, we just sat there and watched the flood come in.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, on the floor, the fossil that hit the ground is suddenly clutching her chest. We're all looking at each other, trying to figure out what to do, so we try to help her. Help her up. She falls to the ground. Cycle repeats 2 more times until we finally realize it's time to call the paramedics. During this entire endeavor, she's holding 3 MP3 players and absolutely refuses to let them go. My coworker calls 911, and the paramedics rush over with a gurney moments later. They're loading her onto the stretcher, and she's moaning about Christmas presents while still clutching the MP3 players.
Oh, sweetheart.
The paramedics determined that between the excitement and throwing herself on the floor, the woman had triggered a heart attack. Let me say that one more time. The woman gave herself a heart attack diving for the MP3 players. Thanks for your help with that.
Obsolete MP3 players.
Well, now they are, sure. The paramedics wheel her out and get her to the hospital. It wasn't a major one, but she outright refused to drop the merchandise at any given time. It went in the ambulance with her.
Oh,
My boss went to visit her in the hospital later that day in uniform, and her first words were, "Oh my God, please don't press charges. I promise I'll pay for it right now." The MP3 players were sitting on her nightstand next to her bed. It had apparently taken a sedative to let her to get her to
let go of them. Poor woman. She needs a heavy dose of George Carlin. Oh my goodness, that poor
Runaway
woman.
rampant consumerism.
Oh, Lordy. I
right.
work back of house at a Toys R Us. I spent Black Friday taking a big ticket item to the back where we just loaded them onto the customer's car instead of trying to make our way to the front of the store. Smart. Apparently someone decided it was fine to wander into the back storage room and start opening boxes to find what they wanted. Other customers saw this one jerk do it and decided it was okay if they did it too. The other back of house guys and I were busy wrestling with a really obnoxious bed set, so when I made it to the other side of our back storage, I found about 10 people just taking cases off our bays and opening them, then tossing them aside if they didn't want it. They claimed there was nothing indicating they couldn't come back there. We have 2 signs on the swinging doors saying employees only and warning only authorized personnel beyond this point.
This one's great. I worked for 6 years at a Johnny Rockets. I love Johnny Rockets. I worked for 6 years at Johnny Rockets in a mall.
I think the only time I've ever been to Johnny Rockets was at the Auburn Super Mall in Washington.
You and I went there.
We did once.
Yeah.
And if I recall, it was yummy.
Yeah, they had one. I think they had one in Kent too, by the time we left, but I don't remember anymore. But yeah, it was good, and the service was fun. It was. It's one of those 50s diner or 60s diner places, reproductions. Anyway, I worked for 6 years at Johnny Rockets in a mall as a server in management. We didn't open early like the rest of the stores because we're a restaurant and, well, we don't serve breakfast. We had people shake our gates screaming that they wanted food.
Really?
It would be just me.
Because there's a whole food court.
I know. It would be just me and an opener getting the chairs set out. I pointed them towards the food court and told them we don't serve breakfast. A lady spit at me and said, "I know you got bacon." We do. In a fridge waiting to be cooked and put on a burger.
But not for you because we reserve the right to refuse service to...
No bacon for you.
Wow. I know you've got bacon.
I know you've got bacon. Good God.
People!
So does IHOP. Go down the street and go to IHOP. Good gravy.
When I worked at this, and folks, this is why we don't do Black Friday shopping. When I worked at a Sam's, I'm actually making most of my presents this year. When I worked at a Sam's Club during the madness one Black Friday morning, we caught a woman stuffing the inside of her pants with frozen lobster tail. She would unpack them and throw the trash in a stack of tires that were on display. Oh, no.
Oh,
Which would make you can't just Just no.
Just no.
Just no.
I worked for Mrs. Fields Cookies in my local mall during Black Friday back when I was in high school. Our manager got called to a store in a different city because a manager had severely hurt themselves melting chocolate for their chocolate-dipped cookies. I ended up having to work for the majority of the day with an equally lazy buddy of mine slinging cookies and taking orders for cookie cases while the mall was packed.
Cookie cakes.
Oh, cookie cakes. I'm sorry. What did I say? It don't matter what I said. Orders for cookie cakes while the mall was packed. Around 4 p.m. and about $1,600 in sales, a gentleman in a button-down Mrs. Fields Cookies uniform shirt comes to our counter telling us he had to do a midday drop for us for whatever money we had taken in that day. I let him in the back. He tinkers for a second on the computer and ends up taking our deposits.
Oh, no.
I think you know where this is going. So now it's an hour before closing time. My boss is now back to our location to help us close. He starts going through our paperwork and money and realizes we're about $1,600 short. I explained to him that Mr. So-and-so came down to our location to do a midday drop. He told me Mr. So-and-so doesn't exist and calls the corporate office. It turned out this guy had gone to over a dozen Mrs. Fields in the area and robbed over $10,000. They never figured out who it was. I ended up being fired over it with my buddy.
Why would you fire? They didn't know.
We stole a giant cookie cake as compensation. Worth it.
Yeah, their cookies are meh.
They're okay.
Why would they get fired?
Famous Amos is a lot better.
Why? I don't understand why they got
Toll House
fired
is
for
the
being
best.
duped. Did they fire every single employee that got duped? Because that's not cool. Jerks. See if I ever eat Mrs. Fields. Wait, have I ever eaten this? I don't think I have.
But then again, I've eaten at every restaurant in the food court in America. So.
I buy that. Back in my poor college day when I worked at Walmart, we had a fight break out over a bike. Fists were thrown and there was some blood. Eventually one guy got a hold of it, managed to get it away from the crowd, and rode the bike out of the store to flee his pursuers without paying.
This is tragic. This one sucks. I would be so mad. I think it was around Black Friday 2004, and I was a cart pusher at Walmart. This particular year, Walmart offered a plasma TV at an extremely low price and was the hottest deal of the year. A man showed up the Tuesday before the big sale with a tent, ice coolers, generator, TV, and everything he needed to brave the 3 nights he would be staying over. He continuously talked about being first in line and how he was going to get the plasma TV and how he was hosting the next Super Bowl party, so this was just going to be the best thing ever. Come around Thursday night, I showed up to my shift and he was still there in a jolly mood. Thankfully, he was about to be able to go home and sleep in his own bed. The news came and he did a short interview and explained what he was waiting for, how he was able to get the time off, he was a truck driver, and why he was so excited. The line for the entrance wrapped around the whole front of the door and about another 300 yards or so past the store, thousands of people waiting to get in. At 5 a.m., the doors open and the man goes straight to the plasmas to see that they were all gone. What happened? The garden center at the Walmart opened up about 10 seconds before the front doors, and those that came the night before scooped up all 15 plasma TVs. This guy who had been there since Tuesday afternoon was dumbfounded and argued with management, but was stonewalled and told there was nothing that could be done. That guy's Thanksgiving was a bust for sure. I don't know, man. If I was the manager of the Walmart and I knew,
I would have set up a GoFundMe to get that guy a free TV.
I would have given him the deal.
I mean, seriously.
I would have.
And there were only 15 of them?
I would have taken the hit, given him the TV. It wouldn't have been that one, of course, but it would have been.
Well, I mean, he was
similar.
on the news. How did they not know he was there? How did they not know he was there and they opened the stupid gardens? No, that's not cool. I hate line cutters. Build the wall. All right. Speaking of which.
Killing me. Oh, God.
Speaking of which, I thought I would update the CAPTCHA.
Oh, yeah. That was a whole...
Yeah, so I made this.
She's evil and I love her.
Oh, let's see here. Why is it not showing? Oh, it is showing. So, yeah, I'm a tiny bit evil. Anyways, I updated that for this season. So if you'd like a copy of that, hit me up. CounterCultureWISE.com. Find us on the socials, all the places, or you can screenshot it from here.
We have a few more. This is from another now sadly obsolete store, online only. I worked at Radio Shack. I love Radio Shack. I worked at Radio Shack for a year in college. During Black Friday, one of the sale items was a $10 calculator marked down to $5.
I can't even imagine paying $5 for a calculator now.
I know. They hand them out at swag at every
They're on your phone. They're on your computer, yeah.
I know. Two sweet elderly women came into the store looking for them. When I told them there was only one left in the display, the shiz was on.
No.
It turned into a geriatric version of roller derby without the skates.
Over a calculator?
Yeah. The one grandma who lost the race called the other one a ficking biatch as she was standing in the checkout line gripping her $5 prize.
A fracking barge.
A fracking barge. I always imagine some little kid opening presents on Christmas morning and getting his stupid $5 calculator, not really wanting it and having no clue about the backstory behind it, as his grandma, sipping her tea, looks on with a triumphant gleam in her eye.
Over a calculator?
My God. You get one of those. You've gotten one of those at a, 5 and dime was what they called it back then, but anyway.
This one just says, I've witnessed two people fist fight over a blankety cursing toaster. Never worked retail, but I delivered to a lot of retail stores. He's a trucker. Showed up with a delivery at a Wally World around 8 a.m. on Black Friday and couldn't even back into the dock. It's like my rig is giving off an aroma that attracts people. Turns out they had some ridiculous price on flat screen TVs and had run out. The store manager had told them there were more coming in the next truck that morning, so naturally, they saw me and thought they'd be allowed to just grab them off the truck. Man, were they disappointed when they saw I had a trailer full of brand new shopping carts.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
All right. Ex-Best Buy worker here. 4 Black Fridays at the highest grossing store in the company gets you a few wild tales. This one is quick. A guy tried to shove a Panasonic Blu-ray player into the front of his jeans. He was a rather large man, but dude, it's a Blu-ray player. Seriously.
Oh, that is dated. That is dated. An unsightly bulge is nothing compared to a Blu-ray. Worked security at Target for 5+ years for being a store in the rougher part of town. I don't have too many horror stories. The funniest one I like to tell is from a couple of years ago. I was there doing crowd control. I would always talk to people in line, try to keep them entertained while they waited in the cold. The first couple in line had been there for about 13 or 14 hours, so we opened the store and we have deals on all sorts of electronics, toys, etc. They get in line and have a shopping cart full of towels that we had on sale for $2. That's it. Just towels. They were first in line outside and waited over half a day for $2 towels. When I left after my 12-hour shift, we still had shelves full of these towels, along with tons more in the stockroom. I think I saw something about women fighting over towels. It got a little bit ridiculous. Okay, well, that's the end of that one, but you found more.
I found even more if you want to continue. If you want to brave the elements.
These ones are pretty quick. We can rapid fire.
Okay.
I saw an elderly woman steal an ice cream maker out of a man in a wheelchair's electric cart.
I'm going to skip the next one because it was on the other article as well.
Okay.
That one as well? Okay. I watched a woman, number 4, I watched a woman collapse in hysterics into my manager's arms because we didn't have the exact model of cooler she wanted.
By the way, if you head on over to CounterCultureWISE.com, all of our links are archived, of course, available for your perusal, just in case you think we're making these things up. A lady called 911 because we wouldn't price match with Best Buy. The police came and arrested her for misusing the emergency service. Oh my.
Skipping down to 7 because we already heard
Frozen
about
lobster tails.
One of our male customers hit another male customer upside the head with a crock pot. What were they fighting over? Well, the crock pot. Both customers had to be dragged out of the store by police.
They tore down our mall's doors again.
There was a sale, $1 for towels or something. This guy jumped into the towel bin and literally growled at anyone who tried to get a towel and claimed them all.
What is up with the towels?
I don't know.
Oh, Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies.
They would toss the Beanie Babies from a bin.
I'm going to say that again. They would toss the Beanie Babies from a bin on a table. People were vultures after these things. I was about 9, and an old lady grabbed a cat out of my hand. I stomped on her foot and stole it back. I was so proud.
People had been lining up for at least 10 hours. We had tons of things on sale. Most people were trying to score deals on fancy electronics. Except for the first person in line. Nope, that person waited all that time for the buy one, get one free candles.
In 8.
All right.
I worked one Black Friday at the Children's Place, and I saw 2 ladies get in a physical fight about size 2T jeans. It was the last pair, and they were like $6.
I worked in customer service at a grocery store and once had a customer return a fully eaten rotisserie chicken, saying they were bringing it back because it was bloody.
Ew.
One look told me and anyone else with eyes that the blood was strawberry jam. My manager still made me issue the refund with a smile because the customer is always right.
I don't think that's a Black Friday story.
Yeah.
My first Black Friday, I was working a Walmart. Oh, nope, we read that one. I worked in the women's shoe department in Bloomingdale's. You'd think that would be a little higher pinky lifting crowd.
Yeah.
On one occasion, after I had placed a pair of beautiful Ferragamo flats at a woman's feet, she accused me of being racist with how I treated her. She created a huge scene shouting that I was discriminating against her for how I took the shoes out of the box. It made absolutely no sense. 20 minutes later, a coworker told me that the woman created that entire scene because she wanted a discount on those shoes, and it didn't work. She got thrown out. Ferragamos are beautiful, but they aren't worth all of that. All right, and there's lots more on Reddit, folks, but I thought it would just be
that's good
fun
enough.
to go over some of those crazy, crazy things. Folks, I just absolutely will never, ever, 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 ever do that to myself.
No. I used to drive by, I used to work in the area, but I drove by a Target just once on Black Friday to laugh. Just at the parking lot because I knew the insanity was going on inside.
I don't even leave. I always make it a point on Thanksgiving that I have everything I need and I don't have to leave the house again until Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
Which is exactly what we just did.
Yeah. I wouldn't have gone yesterday, but there were some things we absolutely needed to get, like cat food.
Yeah.
Maxie and Frankie and Fritzy were rebelling.
Yeah, they were.
They just had to get
time specific. So yeah.
All right. So speaking of retailers,
yeah, things are about to get a lot better at Wally World.
This I don't want to discuss what your opinion on an aspect of this.
Okay.
When we're done.
All right.
But did you want me to read it? You want to read it?
Yeah, hit it, Jim.
Hit it, Jim. Here we go. All right. Under Pressure from Robbie Starbuck, who wrote the New York...
God bless Robbie Starbuck.
God bless him. They should name a coffee chain after him.
Oh, hey, good idea.
Who the New York Times called an anti-DEI agitator that big companies fear most. That means he's good. Walmart is dialing back its DEI program.
Yay!
Diversity, equity, and inclusion for those of you who've been living under a rock.
Which just means rampant racism.
Yeah. Because Walmart is the nation's #1 retailer and the largest private employer in the country, with 1.6 million employees, its about face on DEI has important implications for all retailers and corporations. Companies need to listen to our movement, Starbuck declared. We are powerful and growing every single day. We will not stop until we have eliminated wokeness from corporate America.
Well, especially airlines.
Yeah. And he added, we do have our eyes on Amazon and Target. There's already talk that Target's going to do it as well.
They're targeting Amazon and Amazoning Target?
Yes, they are. Announcing the changes on X. Thank you for not saying formally Twitter. Once again, living under a rock, if you don't know that X was Twitter.
It will always be Twitter in my heart.
Yeah, it will always be X on my brain, because that's what they call it. Yeah. Starbucks said Walmart will close the company's Racial Equity Center, no longer participate in the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index, review supplier diversity programs so that no company gets preferential treatment based on race.
Yay.
Discontinue using terms such as DEI and Latinx.
By the way, Latinos despise the Latinx nonsense. White people, stop it. Stop it. You look stupid.
And racial I went through about an hour and didn't say blah, blah until now. I'm doing better.
Blah, blah.
Blah, blah.
Blah, blah.
And racial equity training programs. In addition, Walmart will remove any items sold that may have inappropriate transsexual content for children,
Yes.
such as chest binders for teens
Yes.
and books encouraging transition.
Amen. Praise Jesus.
It will also stop funding events that could expose children to sexually inappropriate content, such as drag queen story hours or pride events.
Why?
I don't know why they did
Why?
to begin with.
Why?
I don't know why they did to begin with. Walmart confirmed these changes with Bloomberg and Associated Press. However, it has posted no press
What do you bet the
release.
liberals are all going to boycott Walmart now, which is going to make it infinitely better?
Well, fewer people.
Better place to
you know,
shop.
don't have to shorter lines.
Yeah,
Whatever.
because I'm sure all the people wrestling each other to a ground over plasma TV are Trump voters.
Now, some of them are. Let's not kid each other.
Yeah, that's true.
However, it posted no press release on its website or responded to the author's request for comment.
Dad, don't read that.
Okay, so I want to ask you something. I mean, we could keep going, but you know, we basically the DEI movement seems to be crumbling before our very eyes. I want to ask you something.
Okay.
Do you think that in the wake of the George Floyd incident, I'm just going to call it an incident. You call it what you want.
Overdose?
Okay, great. That these companies adopted DEI just to look good, and now that Trump is president, or Trump is going to be, he's not president now, but in a month and a half
He's
he'll
president.
be president of the United States. Was this all just posing, or did they have a sincere desire to make their company more socially responsible?
This is straight out of Rules for Radicals. This was a socialist movement. It started long before George Floyd. George Floyd was just their
Catalyst.
no, not even a catalyst. He was their I don't have the exact word for it, but he was like their poster child. He was a reason, because they had, you know, other ones up till Floyd. He was just the first one that died on camera. And you think about the race riots when what's his name was beaten in L.A. I can't remember his name now. Why can I not remember his name? Everybody knows his name. Except Jim, who's looking at me like I'm crazy.
What name of the who again?
The guy that was beaten by the cops in I think it was LA.
Rodney King.
Yeah, Rodney King. He lived, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's alive anymore, but he did live.
Right. I mean, it started way back then, because what they would do is they would grab an incident, and granted, nobody deserves to be beaten, you know, as like what happened there, but he also wasn't, you know, this poor innocent cherub that was, you know, stealing bread for his starving child. You know, the guy was, I'm not going to use the term he deserved it, but the guy was not the sweet, beautiful, innocent cherub. And George Floyd was a druggy felon, and the world is a better place without him in it. There, I said it. Kill me.
Please don't.
The thing is, he did not have a knee to his neck at any time, ever. So that was a complete and total lie. So the entire BLM, the riots, they killed over 35 of their own people, rioting supposedly in the name of this felon this thug who died of an overdose because he was swallowing his drugs. Every time, he was known that every time, you know, he would get arrested, he'd start screaming for his mommy and saying he couldn't breathe. That was just his thing. All of that was withheld. So they used this guy, this hideously ugly man, inside and out.
His physical appearance doesn't mean anything.
But he was ugly inside and out, and what was inside of him made him even uglier. They used him. That is their hero. That is their martyr. That is who they raise up. Him and the likes of Jussie Smollett, you know, who's actually become a verb for faking things. And the thing is, it's by design. It's carefully calculated. I bet you 99.9% of the BLM rioters not only weren't even black, but didn't even know what they supposedly were writing about. Here's the thing. A social movement, and you can go back all the way to, you know, Gandhi, you can look at Martin Luther King. there wasn't looting, okay? There wasn't people murdering each other in the streets. There wasn't broken windows. No. When you are talking about social unrest and you are talking about fighting for a cause that you actually give a crap about, you are not going to destroy your own neighborhoods, your own cities. You're not going to kill each other in the streets. This was not a social movement that anybody gave a rip about, much less even understood. These were people who wanted free Nikes. These are people who wanted free iPhones. These were the lowest form of humanity. And it has nothing to do with race because a big
just many white
chunk of these people were white.
Or Hispanic or
you know,
whatever.
I don't even think there was any Hispanics involved, to be honest, but they dangled this sugary donut. It wasn't even a carrot because it wasn't anything good for them. And these people were willing to go into absolute mob mode and destroy their own communities. And still vote for the people who led them to do that. Now that is power. That is power. To talk the very people who think that they are trying to make change for their own, to make better lives for themselves, who feel like they've been, oppressed or repressed or suppressed or injected, infected, and the whole thing, in any way, to turn on themselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is like an episode of Star Trek, where some mind-altering God-type creature is able to, like Khan, is able to, we were just talking about that earlier, is able to get you to turn, you stick a worm in their brain and you're willing to turn a gun to your own head.
Right.
That is what they are doing to these people who aren't oppressed, who can succeed if they so choose. Yeah. But if you constantly tell a black man, you are less than I am better than you, you will never succeed. And the only way you can succeed is if I give you some special concession. Well, how are you going to feel? There's one of two ways. You're either going to feel completely defeated and give up, which a lot of them have done, or you're going to say, screw you, white jerk. I'm going to take what's mine. Right. I don't blame them.
So basically you're saying that this was mostly posing and
oh yeah,
with Boeing and
the DEI,
Walmart
the DEI nonsense is a bunch
Tractor
of
Supply and all these other companies that are publicly.
And by the way, Tractor Supply really Tractor Supply. No, what happened is you got these gigantic Soros funded. I know it sounds tinfoil hat wearing, whatever, but follow the money. And these companies were basically told, and they're trying to do the same thing with carbon units as well. They're trying to make it so that you have to, do this whole thing where, oh, my company only uses so many carbon credits. Well, they're basically like the Catholic, what are those things called? Not apologetics, the indulgences, where you could go out and you could bang your neighbor's wife and you could drink all the wine you wanted, but then you could just go buy an indulgence and say, oh, and now I'm forgiven of all those sins. Yeah. That's basically what they're doing with these stupid carbon credits. I can go out there and I can make all the black smog and nastiness as I possibly want, but some other little guy has to pay for it because I can buy these credits. And folks who don't need them can sell them. So it's like, here I am, a tutor. Well, I don't use carbon, I'm over here with
just whatever electricity.
My electricity is generated from windmills. So like I'm home free. And so I get 1 or 2 carbon credits and I can sell them to, Megacorp, who buys them from all of us, and they're still polluting exactly as much as they did before. Right. But now they can feel better about it.
They can pat themselves on the back publicly.
And it didn't change anything. I mean, all of these everybody had a big old fit of Trump backing out of some of these, like the Paris Accords and whatnot. Well, yeah, because we were the only ones doing anything, and we were suffering greatly for that. Meanwhile, China is like polluting the entire world 12 times over
more than anybody
They're
else.
far more polluting than we ever were, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
We don't
I
even,
haven't
the
seen
United
charts.
States doesn't even make the top 10. We don't even make the top 10, but we're the ones doing the most. Okay? And I'm fine. Let's be green. Let's do that. Let's be as clean as we can, but you don't do that in such a way that you make it impossible for people to survive. And that's what was happening. I mean, go look at California in a couple years. When they have this mandate for all cars must be electric, follow the money. First of all, and I'm sorry, Mr. Musk, I love you to pieces. Electric cars are not at the place that they need to be to solve all the problems that you want them to solve.
Within the next 20 years?
Maybe.
Possibly.
We'll see. I mean, no, things are going pretty fast. It might even be within the next 2 or 3 years. But right now, forcing people to get them when the batteries and the parts for those cars have a much, like infinitely huger carbon footprint than a regular car does.
Right.
And all of those parts have to be bought from China.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. You're not saving the planet. Okay? Prius drivers, love you to pieces. You're not saving the planet. You're actually making it worse.
And it's more expensive for you too in the process.
Yeah, and
A
it
lot
reminds
more
me of
expensive.
the story that a lot of motivational speakers use, and this is where I'm going to leave it. It reminds me of the story of a lot of emotional, a lot of motivational speakers use. My background, so this is where I'm coming from. The story is about a man who comes upon a chrysalis, and there is a soon-to-be butterfly that is struggling to get through, and he feels sorry for it because it looks like it's such a chore and it's taking it so long. And there's other versions where it's a bird trying to get out of an egg, blah blah. So he helps it by taking a pair of scissors and ever so carefully snipping it open and pulling it apart so that he can set the butterfly free because it was struggling so hard to get out. He didn't think he was going to make it, and his heart was in the right place. And he wanted to do the right thing, and he felt he was helping. Well, it turns out that without that struggle, the blood vessels in the wings of the butterfly cannot develop to the point where the butterfly can ever actually fly.
So in effect,
what he did is he murdered that butterfly. He murdered the butterfly. He disabled it. And that is what they're doing right now. Yes, things have happened in the past that had nothing to do with my ginger blue-eyed ass, because I was brought over as a slave too. My ancestors were. Thing is, I wasn't. Me, Melanie Hope, the person speaking to you right now, I was never a slave. Jussie Smollett was never a slave. Nobody who is living today, I'm pretty sure, because I think the very last one died a couple years ago, was a slave in this country. We ended it. If you care about slavery, and you're not just posing with your little DEI BS, Chardonnay drinking white, what do they call them? Offals. Affluent white liberal women. They're called offals. Okay? If you really give a flying fish's patootie about slavery, end it now. It is going on more than it ever has in the history of the planet.
Everywhere.
Right now. And do you know where? Yeah.
Slaves in Africa.
Where it's happening the most right now is children at our southern border because you want it to be open. So don't come at me and tell me I'm this tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist, Nazi supporting blah, blah, BS crap, because I supported somebody who wants to close those borders and say, look, stop sending your children here. Stop selling your children. The current administration, and I'm not even going to call it the Biden administration because he doesn't even know where he is. The guy has not been the president. We do not have a president right now. We have one. He's just not officially in office yet. He's actually getting more done at Mar-a-Lago. Did you know? This is actually a little history thing. I need to look this up and make sure this is true. But the woman who built Mar-a-Lago had meant for it to be another nation's capital in Florida. It was meant to be another White House.
Huh.
And that's literally what it's being used for right now.
Good.
So I'll have to look that up and see if that's true. I've been seeing that floating around. So fact check me.
Okay. I did want to say, before we move on to the next step,
one of the aspects of this interview that I did with Dr. Tony, and I hope you do listen to it, is we both agreed that we can't do a damn thing about what my grandpa might have done to somebody else. The only thing we can
Or what might have been done to us. Yeah.
What we both agreed on was we have a responsibility. If I do or say something that could reasonably be considered racist, I want to be told so I can do the right thing, make the apologies, make the changes. But sitting here blaming me for something that, and I'm adopted, I have no idea what my background is, honestly. But let's say my grandpa owned a slave, or great grandpa, let's face it.
Like Kamala.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, I like her. I want to know about it.
I don't.
And I'll apologize.
No.
You know, for anything I personally did, not what.
No, and that's the thing. You and I are going to disagree on this. If I say something that you take as racist and I didn't intend it, screw you. I didn't intend it. Do not take offense. I did not offer it.
Okay.
Taking
fair
something
enough.
that was not offered is stealing. Stealing is rude. Miss me with that garbage.
Fair enough.
Now, if I mean to offend you, I will offend you, and it will be obvious, and I will mean it. Okay? But if I say something stupid, now it is fun every now and then because, and I actually teach classes in this. There are certain colloquialisms that we use, like the peanut gallery, or there are other several of them. I go through them that we don't know. Okay, some of them have been grandfathered in. That's one of them. Grandfathered in.
Right.
That is actually a term that is based in racism. We don't think of it that way anymore.
No.
Just like I grew up, thongs were shoes. And I still sometimes accidentally say, we didn't even have the term flip-flops. Nobody wore underwear that went up their butt. We didn't even think about that. 'Cause ew. Okay? And thongs were shoes. In Africa, thongs are, straps of leather that you could use for all kinds of different things. That's where the term comes from. A thong is a strip of leather that usually goes between something, or you can use it to make an axe. You can use it to make shoes. You can use it for all kinds of different things. And, so that growing up, thongs were shoes. Now I say, I left my thongs at home. They're thinking I'm talking about underwear. Well, I don't. Now, should I be offended that they think I'm thinking of underwear? Or should they be offended
Maybe
that
if
I
you
used
just
the wrong
explain
term?
yourself, it's not a big deal.
But nobody cares.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, but that's a benign example. But let's talk about, I don't even want to go down the path of the N-word. I don't even want to go down that path because that is one of those really, and as long as I live, I will never understand why, and yes, I'm going to say this and you can come at me, why low-class black people think it is okay to use that word on themselves. I have a lot of black friends with degrees who are highly intelligent. A couple of them are members of Mensa. They don't use that word. They have no desire to use that word. And they would be absolutely and understandably offended if I were to use that word.
Yeah,
I don't want to use that word, but I also don't want you calling me a cracker. And I certainly don't want you calling me a Nazi because I don't know anything about Nazis.
But
I
you're
really
not
suck
a
at Nazis.
Zionist Nazi.
Yeah, I'm a Zionist Nazi. That's like
it's certifiably true.
Don't call people words you don't mean.
Or don't understand.
Right. Which means don't call each other those words.
Yeah.
I don't like the practice of women calling each other whores and thinking that that's an affectionate term. No. Words have meaning.
Right.
And if you intend that meaning towards somebody that you care about, then you're just nasty. But if I say something that you take offense at, like, oh, golly, I misgender your puppy dog or something, I don't get it. Man, people call Sadie he all the time. She's a good-looking dog, but, I mean, you can't tell by looking at a dog, whether a boy or girl. You don't know. You have to turn him over, as my brother would say, look under its paws. Look at the bottom of the paws, and that's how you know, yeah. I don't get all offended and as the kids would say, butt hurt when somebody calls her a he. I just say, oh, her name's Sadie. That's it. They know
Well,
she's
I mean,
a girl.
I've had calls.
She doesn't care.
I've had calls over the phone where it sounds like a man. I say, sir, and she said, well, actually, it's ma'am. I say, oh, didn't mean to offend. And we just roll on because that's what life does, you know.
Right. And
it's
I've been
not-
called sir before, and I do not have a man's voice. Even if I try, I don't sound like a man. You know, it just, sometimes things happen. Now, if somebody were to come up to me and try to insult me by calling me, you know, names, and they meant it, and that's the thing. We have forgotten intention.
Yeah, that's true.
We have forgotten intention. And that is where our society is completely crumbled, and that's where the stupid DEI nonsense really, really falls apart. We cannot achieve equity. The only way you can achieve equity is to take away things from people who earned it.
Right.
And that's what DEI stands for. Didn't earn it.
Ouch.
And I would drop my mic if it wasn't on a stand. So
moving on. Well, yeah, we do need to move on.
we do need to move on, and we have some fun
really
stories.
Thank you for sharing your insight.
You bet.
All right, let's
All
rock
right.
this.
I like it when we disagree, but can still discuss it. And I think the world needs more of that. And, oh, I'm so excited. We are going to have a guest on who is an author. I'm not going to reveal her name or anything because it's not officially set in stone, but she wrote a book about how we can learn to get along again. So I really
love that.
I think we could really use that.
I
So
love
I'm
that a
looking
lot.
really, really forward to that. Her book is on the way. By the way, if you are interested in being a guest here at CounterCultureWISE, head on over to our website, CounterCultureWISE.com, and there is a place where you can fill out a form to be a guest on our show. Now, as we were just discussing, we are totally open to having guests that we disagree with as long as they're kind. And that's the thing we're looking for.
Dr. Tony was kind and civil, and
and
it went really, really well.
And even he was a sweet man. Yeah, they're a total luddite. I had to get these two boys set up because neither one of them know how to use the computer.
And we're looking at each other like, hey, how about those Raiders?
Yeah, and I have no idea what they were talking about. Yeah, once we got them going, no, it sounds like I have to edit that, so I'll get to listen to the whole thing.
For just a moment.
You're gonna poach people?
I have a new podcast coming called Fourth on the Fire.
It's not poaching them; they can listen to both.
Okay, yeah, well, listen to both. But for our inaugural podcast of Fourth on the Fire, I am looking for people who have had God rescue them out of their situations or were in bad situations, and through faithful service to God, the situation was resolved. Anything where you have a chance to witness like that, I'd love to have you on. You can go ahead and reach us at CounterCultureWISE.com for now because we haven't set everything up yet. But I hope to launch this no later than around my birthday, mid-January. Okay, for reals this time,
He's putting that out there, folks, so we have to keep him accountable.
Please do.
In fact, I think
in worst case scenario, we've already recorded an interview with myself. So I did use the term myself.
Yeah,
okay.
Incorrectly.
I'm sorry. An interview with me. Melanie interviewed me.
Let me just put this out there, folks. Stop using the term myself. 99.9% of the time,
I myself
you're
am
doing
usually
it wrong.
wrong. So
yes.
99.9%,
yes. That was your
that was the 1%.
That was your 0.1%. Hit me up for more grammar Nazi. That's the type of Nazi I am right
grammar
there.
Nazi. Anyway.
No hanging gerund for you. Okay. Hey, what do you say we head into what happens to be my
Melanie's
favorite part of the
favorite
show?
part of the show.
CounterCultureWISE is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
I need to shave your head so you look like that again.
We're going to do that tonight.
Okay.
Before we go to.
Because he looks like a giant gray
I look
Q-tip.
like I used to, like a bushy
homeless guy. Yeah.
Homeless guy. I look like Nick Nolte and down and out in Beverly Hills. I'm really shaggy.
You do.
I do. I know I do. Except I'm not as good looking. He's good looking.
Well, and you've got like a 12 head.
Yes, I do.
Not a forehead.
That's a forehead that's 3 times the size of a forehead.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, math.
So, yeah, this is one of my favorite parts of the show too because of the introduction. I love my cats and dogs and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, this is funny.
Okay, I think it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your
Even
turn.
though I just did like all the talking just now.
No, you go right ahead. Go right ahead. This is funny.
All right, hold on a second while I get the screen set up. I get this set up. Here we go. Dang, it's in the right place. Everything's got to get set up. Okay. Police thought a shoe thief was on the loose at a kindergarten in southwest Japan until a security camera caught the furry culprit in action. A weasel. Just, hello, weasel? Okay. A weasel with a tiny shoe in its mouth was spotted on the video footage after police installed 3 cameras in the school in the prefecture of Fukuoka? Fukuoka? A prefecture? Is that like a state? Or
It's kind
area?
of like a county or a municipality.
You can't see him use his hands to like to shape it. It's
It's like a county or municipality.
It's great. It turned out not to be a human being. Deputy Police Hiraku Inada told I don't know why I rolled my R's. Do Japanese people roll their R's?
Only if they're trying to imitate Russians.
Okay, so you've been to Japan. You read it.
Deputy Police Chief Hiroaki Inada
Told the Associated Press Sunday. I can read that part.
Yay.
Teachers and parents had feared it could be a disturbed person with a shoe fetish.
I think
It's just a disturbed weasel.
person.
Yeah. And so this was the video footage there. Japanese customers take their shoes off before entering home. I'm sorry. Japanese customarily take their shoes off before entering homes. The vanished shoes were all slip-ons the children wore indoors, stored in cubby holes near the door. Weasels are known to stash items, and people who keep weasels, and our cat Frankie, who keep weasels as pets give them 2 toys so they can hide them. The weasel scattered shoes around and took 15 of them before police were called. What are police going to do with the weasel? 6 more were taken the following day. The weasel returned November 11 to steal 1 more shoe. Camera footage revealed that the weasel emerged from behind a wall and, approaching cubby holes full of children's shoes, the critter then races away with a white shoe in its mouth. It's thought the weasel may have been using the shoes to line its nest in preparation for winter hibernation. Interesting. The shoe-loving weasel only took the white indoor shoes made of canvas, likely because they're light to carry. We were so relieved. Gosho Komodo and kindergarten director,
Yoshihide Saito.
What he said,
Yeah.
told Japanese broadcasters. The children got a good laugh when they saw the weasel in the video. Although the stolen shoes were never found, the remaining shoes are now safe at the kindergarten with nets installed over the cubby holes. The weasel, which is believed to be wild, is still on the loose.
Dun, dun,
We're relieved that the incident was not caused by a human, but this is the first case of its kind. So they just have wild weasels?
Yep.
Say wild weasels 3 times fast.
Wild weasels 3 times fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've all heard about Black Friday, but we're going to talk about another color of Friday right now. And fortunately, I'm the one who gets stuck reading this.
Fortunately, you're the one who gets stuck reading it. Off you go. What color of Friday are we talking about, Jim?
We are talking about the following. Plumbers in the United States. Now, this is from before Thanksgiving, so work with me here.
Okay.
Plumbers in the United States are preparing for Brown Friday.
Brown
The
Friday. Which
Brown
makes
Friday.
sense because, you eat all the stuff and the
And then
stuffing
the brown
and the brown comes down and the rain comes up.
The brown come down, yo. The busiest day of the year for their profession, and one analysis suggests Los Angeles is likely to be the most clogged city.
Well, at least they're using the toilets finally.
When Brown Friday comes. The country's plumbers refer to the day after Thanksgiving as Brown Friday as consistently the busiest day of the year, averaging 50% more calls than the average Friday.
Holy moly.
Roto-Rooter said the main culprits are clogs in kitchen sinks, toilets, and garbage disposals. An analysis blah, blah, rented lips, they're not my own. An analysis by Yelp analyzed patterns of plumbing-related online data and found searches for emergency plumbing surged by 65% during Brown Friday in 2023, compared to searches from 2 weeks prior to Thanksgiving and data from 2 weeks after the holiday. Yelp dubbed Los Angeles to be the clogged capital of the United States.
Oh,
That is not something you want to be labeled with.
That's been labeled a lot of things, but that's probably the nicest.
With plumbing-related surges, blah, blah. I really haven't been drinking, at least not much. With plumbing-related
Not
searches,
the right things, anyway.
surging by 73% on Brown Friday, followed by Miami with an increase of 37%.
We have a full docket of Florida Man, but we just haven't had time to do it. So
Yeah,
that is coming up eventually.
Tonight also, we're not going to have enough time.
So many things to talk about.
Nashville is next with a search increase of 26%, followed by Sacramento with a 24% increase, and Baltimore with a search spike of 23%. Roto-Rooter offered some advice for avoiding Thanksgiving weekend plumbing catastrophes, including keeping fats and cooking oils away from the sink, wiping grease out of pots and pans with a paper towel before washing them.
I tell Jim this all the time.
I know, and sometimes I do it. And not putting potential clog-causing foods such as poultry skins, celery, fruit, and potato peels down the garbage disposal.
Okay, first of all,
what's a garbage disposal?
What's a garbage disposal? What's a dishwasher? What's a flushing toilet? Please go to CounterCultureWISE.com and just contribute to the dishwashing.
We got to get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do.
We need to come into this century.
Fund,
yeah. First of all, poultry skins. Honey, no. You fry them. That is your treat. Yum, yum.
Eat them. You feed them to the dog if you don't want them.
You feed them to the dog. You fry them until they're nice and crispy and they're so yummy and I like them. And that is my treat for when I make an entire Thanksgiving meal. At the end of the day, when everybody else is slogging down, sweets and whatnot, I fry the skins. That's my treat. Okay. Second of all, celery, potato peels,
celery
onions, any of that stuff you stick in
the garbage disposal.
No,
it also shouldn't be put in your face. Throw it away. Don't buy it. All it is just a vessel for cream cheese. Thank you.
And dip and
okay, yeah, and dip and she looks really, really hurt, folks.
It was good in the stuffing. Remember you chopping the celery?
I'm kidding. Okay, it just gets between my teeth.
Okay, and what you do with your odds and ends, like your garlic and onion skins, your peels, your celery, all of that stuff, you put it in a bag, and then once you're done deboning the turkey, you put all the turkey bones in a bag. And you freeze it, and then next time you need broth, you just dump everything out of the bag, and you have a nice.
Is good.
You just boil it all.
As Andy Griffith used to say.
Boil it all day long. You have the most amazing broth. It's insane. So I've got pork bones with all their little pieces of. I think it was Atomic Shrimp on YouTube. He calls them his veg bones, and yeah, it makes fantastic broth. And if you have just vegetable odds and ends, you toss it into a pot of water and boil it until it's, then you strain it and then you throw it away or put it in your compost.
So let me ask you something, because we're about to go into the Chinese counterpart of one of our most beloved American restaurant chains, and I'm wondering if you would indulge in this.
100%. Seriously? Yep.
Okay, well, we'll tell our audience about it.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, it doesn't have any pictures. So,
it does, actually.
China's Pizza Hut franchise is serving customers deep-fried frogs on top of their pies. I wonder if I'd want it on a pizza. I have had frog legs before, though.
Oh, frog legs before.
Yeah.
Frog legs are yum.
David Henke, a global food trend watcher and industry consultant, posted on X Twitter, at least they're cooking them this time, unveiling a picture of the specialized pizza that's supposedly being offered for a limited time. Do we even have Pizza Huts left here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
alongside an advertisement for the creation, Henke wrote, per at Technomic Global Navigator, in proof that other countries' cultures prefer different types of proteins, Pizza Hut is offering a pizza topped with a frog for a limited time offer in China, and frog is trending. So here is your...
That's what it looks like.
Okay, the eyeballs are hilarious. That is absolutely...
They're hard-boiled eggs, but yeah.
But it makes it look like eyeballs.
Yeah.
Well, personal pizza, pretty well and obviously didn't skip leg day. Looks pretty good. The thick crust pizza features a red sauce base under a bed of parsley. That looks like cilantro to me. With a whole fried bullfrog on top, 2 halves of hard-boiled eggs with black olives appear as the eyes of the frogs. They told you their eyes. It is unclear how long Chinese Pizza Hut will be offering the protein-packed pizza, and the company does not specify on their website either. But they didn't, clean it out or nothing? It's just, the whole thing?
I don't know. I've never seen a whole frog prepared like that.
Yeah. It's unclear how long Chinese Pizza Hut... Okay, offered that. According to Korean news outlet The pizza has been launched in collaboration with Dungeons and Dragons and is named Goblin Pizza after one of the popular game's characters. And this is what it looks like. They showed it on Reddit.
I
So,
think it's funny looking.
yeah. If it's real, it's funny looking. This pizza is a felony. Oh, now here's what the real one looks like. Okay, so here's what they say it's supposed to look like, and here's what it actually looks like.
Yeah, it doesn't look quite so good.
This pizza's a felony, one person commented on the post, while another asked, why ruin a pizza like that? A third, more sympathetic person added, I would not be mad if the pizza underneath the frog was passable. Another joked, you can rivet this right into the garbage. Yeah, that pizza looks
the one
infinitely better than that pizza. And
It's
why?
not much different from the McDonald's
Yeah.
burgers you see on the commercial, and you're like, oh my god, I have to have one of those. You go there and you get this
Yeah,
thrown together,
this
sloppy, lopsided.
anemic, yucky,
yeah,
nasty.
the one on Reddit is not as pretty.
No,
at
that is
all, and I would
that
not wanna
is
eat that.
nasty. One intrigued foodie suggested, "Yo, fried frog legs are so good. Maybe shred the frog leg meat next time and add it to the pizza. That would be pretty good." That's where I
That
land.
would be acceptable.
That's where I land. I am more upset about the olives. Another person said, Pizza Hut isn't the only fast food chain in Asia that's put controversial pairings on its menu. I don't usually do this, but I just want to find out what some of these are.
awful.
In 2020, McDonald's locations in China added a sandwich made with 2 slices of Spam and an Oreo crumb topping.
Oh, the look on Melanie's face is priceless.
Bleh.
That's gag nasty.
And in 2022, Domino's Pizza Japan introduced crispy fish and chippa
Fish and
pizza.
chip pizza, I'm pretty sure that's what they meant.
And they might say fish and chippa. That came with fresh fish and potato slices, basil tartar, and tomato sauce and lemon slices. That
I
actually
wouldn't
sounds
mind
pretty
trying
good.
That, actually, that sounds yummy
Yeah,
and safe.
Spam and Oreo.
Oreo.
Yeah, and
Ugh.
whoever.
Oreo
See if
burger.
this is still live on Reddit.
It
Yeah,
is.
there's the
Oh, that's nasty looking. I'm sorry.
yeah.
The one they showed on their on Pizza Hut's website was far more.
Yeah, that one.
appetizing.
Well, I wouldn't call it appetizing. It's definitely
Well,
prettier.
Yeah.
And with the they say it's parsley. It looks like cilantro to me, but
Yeah,
what the heck? What are those? Like anemic spinach pieces? I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know.
This pizza is a felony.
It's pretty gross.
I'm fine with frog, but bones do not belong on pizza. Ever seen chicken wings on pizza? No. Yeah, I agree. Bones?
I
No.
mean,
No.
some buffalo
No with the
chicken
bones.
on pizza,
Yeah, but
the
not
bones.
the
Not the
wings,
bones,
like
right, not
the
the
actual
wings.
bones. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes no sense at all.
Yeah. Anyway,
So,
so we're going from more weird than wonderful to more wonderful than weird. Now, one thing every Thanksgiving, it is the law that we either listen to the song or watch the movie Alice's Restaurant. We also always watch A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, where Peppermint Patty shows us she's a total
Twat waffle.
Twat waffle. Okay, we'll use that one. We did not watch the world famous WKRP episode with this. God is my witness. I thought turkeys could fly.
I think that should be a tradition that we add.
I think we'll add that starting next year. This is also a story of dropping turkeys, although it's not like live turkeys flying into each other and terrorizing the populace.
Because live domestic turkeys can't fly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was one, I think the WKRP episode was based on a real story, and it wasn't live turkeys, it was frozen.
Oh, that would be even worse.
It was. I think somebody died, if I recall. All right, but this happier ending.
Much happier. So we got this has happened in Alaska. Yeah, it gets pretty remote out there in places. So this is from a place called Squentna, Alaska. I hope I pronounced that properly. If there's any Squentians listening, let me know.
Yeah. There's not enough vowels in your city name. Put some more vowels in there.
Yeah. A woman is delivering Thanksgiving turkeys to her neighbors and others in the West Susitna Valley in a unique way. For the last 3 years, Esther Sanderlin has been loading frozen turkeys onto her plane to drop them off to Alaskans who live off the road system. I was visiting our newest... Now, by the way, Melanie and I would never live somewhere like this. We live remote enough in Texas.
We live remote enough in that, yeah.
It's not
Hey, the good news is, though, that we could live that remote and we'd get screaming fast internet as we do now. Thank you, Mr. Musk.
You know, they really ought to advertise as much as we promote.
We'll take money, Musk.
Come on, Elon, cough up. For the last 3 years, she's been loading them to Texas. Okay. I mean, Alaskans. I was visiting our newest neighbor, and they were talking about splitting a squirrel 3 ways for dinner. Hey, Rocky! And how that didn't really go very well. Or go very far, Senator, and said
No, our squirrels do have quite a bit of meat on them.
Our squirrels are downright meaty. They would make a tasty treat. And I just had a thought at that moment. You know what? I'm going to airdrop them a turkey for Thanksgiving because I recently rebuilt my first airplane with my dad, and I can do that really easily. During freeze up, you can't really get around, so you can't travel out there, but you can fly as long as you don't land. She got the idea from her time growing up in Squentna. We had a friend, a neighbor, who would airdrop turkeys to my family and to other families in the neighborhood, she said. That was just such a huge impact on my life and others in the community.
It seems to me like they would have either drones or that kind of service set up already.
If it's that remote, there might not be worth the investment. She hopes to return this mission into a nonprofit so she can reach more people across Alaska. My vision with this is to reach farther parts of Alaska because there are so many families that live off the grid, she said. This year she's dropping about 30 to 40 turkeys, all in the effort to ensure no one is forgotten, not even those living off the road system. If you live off the grid and want a turkey, a little bit late for that because it's past Thanksgiving, but you can contact her
I'm going to check out this Facebook
page for any future turkey drops in your neighborhood.
Now I have a question for you. It's called Turkey Bomb. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
If you live off the grid, that's by choice.
Right.
So somebody bombing you with a turkey, isn't that trying to get you back on the grid?
No, I don't
Wouldn't you
think
resent
so.
that?
I wouldn't resent it. I would think it was unless they didn't warn us and that I'm out there chopping a tree and all of a sudden
I grew up out in rural Alaska where there's no road.
This is the moment a pilot delivered.
Because I thought it was really, really good.
I missed it. Say it again.
I don't know if I can remember it. It was something about bonk me on the bean with a butterball.
No, you don't want butterballs. They're being recalled.
They're being
Recall the butterballs.
Bad idea to eat a butterball right now.
Well, she's very fashionable too. She's really super pretty.
She's very pretty.
Crazy pretty. So there she is. Dropping turkeys. And there it goes. It doesn't even get a parachute?
Why would it need a parachute? It's a frozen turkey.
Oh, it is a frozen turkey.
It's just gonna leave an indentation in the.
So you just have to be really careful where you bonk it.
Yeah.
You don't want to get bonked in the bean with a butterball. Or in your case, barely bonked in the bean with a butterball. Because a 17-pound butterball would be significantly smaller than your head. I love you too.
That's
exactly what he just mouthed to me. All right, I brought up the original on this one so that I could show the pictures. So if you'd be kind enough to read this, because there's several pictures.
Okay.
And I wanted
wow,
to.
That's nice.
Yeah, because on the archive version it only has the one. So.
Okay, well I'll go ahead and read it then. Italian authorities have recovered precious 3rd century BC artifacts from an Etruscan necropolis looted by a couple of bungling tomb raiders, not exactly Laura Croft, in Umbria, who stumbled across the hall on their land. The Etruscans flourished in central Italy around 2,500 years ago, but were gradually assimilated into the Roman Empire. They left behind lavish tombs, pottery, and statues, but tantalizingly few written documents and patchy evidence of their daily lives. These artifacts, including 8 urns, 2 sarcophagi, and beauty accessories such as bronze mirrors and a
So
perfume...
it's not sarcophaguses?
No.
So does that mean the Snuffleupagus family is Snuffleupagi?
Yes.
And Snuffleupagal?
Yes. I'm just going to say yes because I haven't watched Sesame Street in 5 days or something. I don't even know.
5 days?
Okay, anyway. And a perfume bottle still redolent of its original scent are worth at least 8 million euros, the equivalent of $8.5 million, Carabinieri Art Police said. They were found in Città della Pieve, about 150 kilometers or 90 miles north of Rome. One sarcophagus contained the full skeleton of a woman in her 40s, while the urns were finely decorated with scenes from Greek mythology and female figures with still visible red paint on their lips and gold coloring on their jewels. Police seized the loot from 2 entrepreneurs who had unearthed Etruscan burial chambers while excavating land they owned. Perugia Chief Prosecutor Rafael Cantone told a press conference on Tuesday. They had nothing to do with the world of practiced tomb raiders and were clumsy and amateurish in the way they tried to access the black market for looted art, prosecutor said. The Carabinieri caught up with them after they posted pictures of their discovery on the internet. Oh boy. In the hope of finding buyers, triggering investigations.
Dear Crooks, always post what you're doing on the internet.
Oh, it gets
wink,
better.
Wink.
It gets better. Triggering investigations that included phone wiretaps, stakeouts, and air surveillance drones.
Oh, dear.
Police finally swooped on the suspects after one of them posted on Facebook a picture of himself with a looted artifact. Cantoni said, "What is Italian for you stupid son of a blip?
No va bueno." No, not really, but no.
Dummkopf. No, wrong language.
Wrong.
A stupid. No. I don't know what Italian for schmuck is. Whatever. The pair faced charges related to the theft. It's like the wet bandits of Italy. Sorry. The pair faced charges related to theft and trading in stolen goods and risked jail sentences of up to 10 years, said
Jim, you're not going to believe this.
Anna Maria Greco, who led the investigation. What am I not going to believe?
I found a website that gives you 30 different ways to say idiot in Italian.
Yay, let's hear it.
Idiota.
Idiota.
Idiota. Okay, so, and this is the offensive rating. All right, so here's a full sentence.
Oggi quell'idiota di mio fratello mi ha versato il caffè sulla giacca.
Today, that idiot brother of mine poured coffee on my jacket. All right, stupido. How do we not know stupido? Everybody knows stupido.
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 I like that one.
Scemo.
Oh, shamo. Shamo. Somebody with very little intelligence. This is medium. Oh, I had a friend named Perla. Don't think she spelled it this way, though.
Pirla.
Pirla. Originates, thoroughly indicates stupid or inept person. Originally it meant spinning top and later came to indicate, something that we don't want to talk about. Okay. Cretino.
Cretino.
Cretino means stupid, cretin.
Deficiente.
Deficiente. Well, isn't that the same as us calling them tarbs?
Yeah,
It says it's medium, so here it'd be low.
Sciocco.
Sciocco. Okay, so there you go. 50 ways to leave your lover and 20 ways to call somebody an idiot in Italian. I will make sure this is on our website. Ding, ding, ding,
all
ding.
All of those and so much more. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Aren't those artifacts amazing?
They're absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at that. Look at the detail.
For being that old, they are in remarkably good shape.
And to have any of that color left, that's insane.
That's crazy.
And that somebody could just stumble on it like that. It's crazy. Alrighty. You know, we're around in the second hour, so I think, no, actually we do have some Thanksgiving related nice things, and then we'll wrap her up with one final story that, of course,
sounds fantastic.
We'll see if you manage to make me cry
I don't
this
think this
year.
is a cry one. I just think it's a heartwarming story.
Okay.
We'll see.
A California family is preparing for a Thanksgiving miracle as they reunite with a loved one who vanished 25 years ago. Thanks to the persistence of law enforcement and a chance discovery in a news article, a man reported missing in 1999, has been positively identified and will soon embrace his family again. This is amazing. The story began when a woman from Doyle, California contacted Lassen County Sheriff's Office on November 22nd of this year. This just happened. With a startling discovery. She had been sent a USA Today article from April featuring a photograph of an unidentified non-verbal man who had been admitted to a hospital in Los Angeles. The woman immediately recognized him as her brother, who disappeared without a trace in 1999. Man, that's like offering, well, hello there, Squirrely. We've got a Squirrely right outside drinking water. Hi, Squirrely, Squirrely.
We're not making you dinner. I mean, we're not turning you into dinner.
No, we made you dinner. It's out there.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so the deputy took swift action, reaching out to the hospitals involved and coordinating with the Los Angeles Police Department. I like how they say LAPD like we don't know who that is. Missing Persons Unit. And then they never mentioned the LAPD again, so I don't know why they told us that. That's funny. Excuse me while I take a drink. Through fingerprint analysis, LAPD detectives confirmed the man's identity as the long missing brother. It's going to make their Thanksgiving that much better, said Captain Mike McCarney of the Lassen County Sheriff's Office, who described the sister as super excited and over the moon upon hearing the news. Can you imagine?
I can't.
I can't even imagine. The worst is not knowing. I mean, we have a dear friend, I won't go into detail, that they have a missing family member, and there's all these different possibilities, and the worst is just not knowing.
Right.
Just not knowing. And in a lot of ways, it's better to find out what happened than not know. The man's disappearance had remained a mystery for decades. Nonverbal and unable to communicate his identity, he had lived under hospital care in Los Angeles. Maybe they'll tell us. I wonder what it. Yeah, no, okay.
I don't think it tells, and I use this article rather than the source article because it actually is better written.
Oh, okay. The USA Today article, which sought the public's help in identifying him, proved to be the key to solving this decades-old case. Law enforcement expressed gratitude for the collaborative effort that led to the resolution. And then, of course, they give them lots of praise and whatnot. Well, the names of the family members remain private, but not the picture of the dude, for reals?
Guess not.
I wonder if he's going to maybe see his family and maybe become verbal.
Possibly.
The emotional impact of this reunion is undeniable. The sisters eagerly notifying other family members, and the thought of being together again after so many years brings a new depth of gratitude to their Thanksgiving celebration. I hope seeing his family brings him out. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I wonder what happened. I wonder if he fell, or looks like he has a scar on his head, but if he's been nonverbal and in the hospital that long, where would he get that? Wow. So Godspeed. I would love to do a follow-up on this.
Maybe we'll have one.
We don't have names to follow, but if we do find out, we will let you know, dear listeners.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's log on into... now see, that's why we can't have nice things.
Sorry.
I think it is your turn, Jimmy.
Of course it is. Doesn't he look happy? Doesn't this man look so overjoyed what he did? Dope. A man is in custody for allegedly killing his 80-year-old roommate after an argument over the Thanksgiving food at their Massachusetts home.
What?
Richard Lombardi, 65, has been charged with manslaughter and assault and battery on an elderly person following the death of Frank Griswold, no relation to Clark, according to the Plymouth District Attorney's Office. It happened on Wednesday afternoon at their home on Main Street in Marshfield. Lombardi told police that Griswold often sneezes, so he warned the man not to go near the food because he did not want him to sneeze or contaminate the food, according to prosecutors. The suspect,
Can't you just cover up your schnoz?
You know, you'd think that would be sufficient, but I guess this guy has our hang-up about germs, okay?
Then he probably shouldn't be living with the...
I know. Suspect left the kitchen but later returned to find Griswold near the food, so he grabbed him by the collar and shoved him aside. Lombardi surmised that Frank Griswold's feet got tangled up and he fell and hit his head on the floor. Yeah, because you shove an 80-year-old man, you dope. Prosecutor Joseph Presley, no relation to Elvis, said in court. He did see the victim, Mr. Griswold, near that food doing dishes, said that he went over and grabbed Mr. Griswold from behind, grabbed his back, and threw Mr. Griswold to the right and tossed him to the side. Prosecutor Joseph
Dude
Presley
was doing dishes and you throw him to the ground? What's wrong with you?
He was seen laying face up on the floor in the kitchen in a pool of blood. When Lombardi saw that his roommate was unconscious and bleeding from the head, he called 911, according to court documents obtained by WCVB. Griswold died of blunt force trauma to the neck and head, the prosecutor said.
So
Lombardi's
it was
a turn.
kind of an accident, sort of. But this
It was
guy,
an accident, I'm telling
he doesn't need to be in society if he like.
Lombardi's attorney, Marshall Johnson, told the court that Lombardi was devastated to learn that his friend had died because he killed him. Anyway, the pair were friends for about 30
I'm
years.
so sad that I killed. that my friend died because I killed him.
The pair were friends for about 30 years and roommates for more than 20 years, he said. It sounds like an accident based on what the evidence was that was revealed in court, Johnson
I wonder
said.
how much eggnog he had.
He was shocked. Had too much eggnog because nobody had told him that his friend had passed away until I told him this morning. Lombardi was charged with assault and battery on a person 60 and over, causing serious injury and involuntary manslaughter, according to Plymouth District County's office. He pleaded not guilty in Plymouth District Court and is being held without bail. He is expected to be back in court on December 4th.
Wow.
Well, prayers to the families of both people.
I mean, 80, he had a good run. It's just,
Yeah,
that's
80
not a
ain't
way to
bad, but
go.
That's a crappy way to leave.
He looks more worried than he looks upset.
Well, wouldn't you?
Well, no, I'd be devastated. I mean, I killed my so-called friend. Okay, I know what people are gonna say, and you're wrong. So I'm just putting that out there from the headline.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and you're wrong. Just so we're clear.
It ain't about the big guy.
Yeah.
The other big guy.
Big guy?
The other big guy.
Voters in Monroe County, Michigan elect a convict who will start his term beyond bars. And I do apologize trying to scroll. The site doesn't let me actually scroll. It keeps half the site up there, so sorry about that. Newly elected County Commissioner Mark Brandt says he's eager to serve his constituents in Monroe County, Michigan, but first he has to serve time. Brandt is scheduled to report to federal prison in Morgantown, West Virginia on Friday, making this a Thanksgiving he'll always remember, even if he'd rather forget. Brandt was sentenced to 18 months in Club Fed, fined $500,000 and agreed to give up the more than $300,000 the feds found in his Monroe home after he pled guilty to what Uncle Sam calls maintaining a drug-involved premises. Oh my. See, now that's a real charge.
Yeah, that's
overstating, the value of something,
which is something all real estate developers
that
do.
everybody does.
It's like absolutely,
and paying back your debt with interest and having everybody in
happy
the agreement happy and want to do further business.
Yeah.
That is not a real case. Well, that may sound like the longtime Republican politician, of course he's Republican, was operating a crack house or an opium den in the Michigan-Ohio border. It's not that dramatic. Brandt copped to leasing land to some dudes who grew marijuana they sold in Ohio in violation of federal law, so he wasn't even part of it. It wasn't even, he
Not
leased
directly, no. He just leased land.
I mean, if we tossed a bunch of seeds out in our yard, would our landlords have to go to jail? What an amazing idea.
Let's do it. Sorry, we're not fans.
Sorry, yeah. I hope they don't listen to our show.
They don't listen to the show. We don't do that.
It turns out, let's see, Brandt, who was first selected, blah, blah, somehow kept secret that the feds had been after him for 4 years. Fellow Commissioner Randy Richardville said when Brandt's colleagues got a whiff he might be in trouble.
So to speak.
Brandt assured them nothing was happening. Well, yeah, it had nothing to do with him. Like, literally nothing to do with him. If you lease the land, essentially they own it until they are no longer leasing it from you. So if they do naughty things on the land, that has nothing to do with the landowner if he's leasing it. I can't believe he actually got convicted. It turns out something was happening. When Brandt, who was serving the chairman of the commission, finally came clean in September that he was facing a potential prison sentence, Richardville said, we were like, what? Grown people still talk like that. Brandt resigned from the commission on October 1st, but because it was too late for Brandt to take his name off the ballot, even if he had wanted to, and it was too late for other candidates to get their name on the ballot, Brandt was elected to a fourth term on November 5th with a staggering 90% of the vote. Go Brandt! Brandt's popularity contributed to his decisive victory, but he also benefited from running in a district that is so overwhelmingly Republican that no Democrat dared challenge him by trying to get on the ballot before the filing deadline in April.
Add to that the fact that Brent had been elected 3 times before, and that I don't think you should be able to get elected that many times. 2 and done, you're out of there. You shouldn't be able to Pelosi your way into a life of this. It's ridiculous. Add to that the fact that Brent had also been elected 3 times before, no idea. He was in the Fed's crosshairs. Most people did not know. And it's a lot easier to understand Brent's landslide comeback victory barely a month after stating in his resignation letter, I don't want my personal circumstance to interfere with the smooth operation of the county I so dearly love. Nevertheless, instead of resigning a second time, and despite his, quote, personal circumstance, end quote, interfering with the smooth operation of the county he loves, Brent hustled over to the county clerk's office last week and took the oath of office to serve a fresh 4-year term. He'll probably do less harm in jail anyway.
There you go.
Even with time off for good behavior, Brent will spend the first year of that term behind bars. He says it's no big deal. While I'm gone, my phone will be available. I have somebody who will be taking my messages, and my fellow board members will have volunteered to handle all of my constituents' concerns, and I won't be able to handle. I think he should appeal because I don't think it's fair he got convicted. As for his salary of about $15,000 a year, that's it.
That's almost
that's
just
diddly.
public service money. That's
like
nothing.
here, have a free burger once a week. Brent said he has no choice. By law, I have to take the payment while I'm in. He said, pausing to avoid saying prison, then adding, while I'm not here. He said he may have to try to donate it to charity. Well, why shouldn't he get paid if he's doing the job? And it's not like he's getting paid enough to, I mean, he probably couldn't even buy cigarettes and get soap on a rope for that. That's nothing. It's unclear how Brent's colleagues feel about his assertion. They're willing to pick up his slack, especially since they have their hands full coping with conundrums caused by his conviction. Oh, I've got to say that one again. Coping with conundrums caused by his conviction. We are alliterative this evening.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Bonking on the bean with a butterball.
Yes. Getting badly bonked
indeed.
on the bean with a butterball. Among the questions they're wrestling with now are whether county officials who knew about Brent's predicament should have informed the commission. What could they have done, though? They said it was too late. This became an issue. I'm not going to... Bleh. Anyways, let's see. So, hippie lettuce. That's funny. Portfolio of renting land where they can grow soybeans, corn, and vegetables. His lawyer, blah, blah. Renting of properties to individuals that would grow and ultimately distribute marijuana in violation of federal law. But if he did not know... I guess back in 1984 he sold diet pills. Okay, so I guess he's just evil.
Not the first time.
Okay. Whatever. Yawn. It's just, yawn. Okay, have fun with this one.
This should have been in Florida, man, but
yeah.
I didn't notice it was in Cape Coral until now. So
okay.
We'll go
well, it's a woman anyway, right?
Yeah.
Off you go.
A popular TikTok influencer allegedly filmed herself shoplifting $500 worth of goods from Target and posted the evidence for the internet to see. Oh my God. Seriously. A loss prevention employee at Target in Cape Coral, Florida, alerted police on October 30th after they saw a woman pile $500.32 worth of items.
And 32
into her shopping
cents.
cart.
That's important. 32 cents.
Once at the self-checkout register, the female suspect did not scan the item's barcodes, instead scanning a false barcode with cheaper prices, the Cape Coral police said in a press release. They said 16 items were stolen. Target employees gave the authorities an image of the woman who stole the merchandise, which the police posted to their social media accounts to seek the public's help. An anonymous caller saw the post on social media and gave a possible identification for the suspect as Marlena Velez, the press release said. Yes, I just did the white guy Hispanic accent thing.
That was bad.
The anonymous caller also provided officers Marlena's Instagram handle. 22-year-old Marlena Velez's Instagram led, I got to do it now, authorities to her popular TikTok profile, where officers made a surprising discovery. Velez had allegedly posted a video of her day at Target on October 30th to her TikTok account with over 300,000 followers because of freaking course she did. Marlena documents herself picking out items inside the store and placing them in her car after exiting the store, police said. The Cape Coral cops corralled, never mind.
Oh,
the
no.
Cape Coral Police Department posted a video to its social media accounts with clips from Velez's TikTok video, which has since been deleted.
Do people want on TikTok just lose their minds? Is that?
Absolutely. Although the video did not seem to show or even reveal the shoplifting itself, police were able to connect Velez to the crime through her clothes, the date, and the items she purchased in the video. So the Cape Coral cops collared the criminal and charged her with petty theft worth more than $100 but less than $750. What a week. I'm really trying, folks. Really
what a not so strong charge.
What a lame charge. She was released on a $150 bail soon after. Ding dong.
Seriously, though, she posted it on Oh, honey. You're just so dumb. Oh.
Dumber than a wet bag of rocks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've enjoyed it this evening, and I think
Very
it is
much.
time for, my very
favorite, not
very
just a favorite.
favorite. Here on CounterCultureWISE, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the wonderfuller. I think one of our recent interviewees would enjoy this story as well.
Absolutely. This is from CBS News. It's from their Sunday morning show.
All right.
So hit it, Melanie Hope.
We were amazed at what we were seeing on a sweltering summer's day when a group of people with Parkinson's disease began rock climbing on the Carter Rock Cliffs in Maryland. Yes, rock climbing. It's all part of their therapy, says Mullick Kupka. Just go all the way and do the cake. Cupcake. The no-nonsense instructor.
That more than
I'm
once.
sure.
She probably hates it by now.
I bet you she likes it. The no-nonsense, well, maybe not. She's no-nonsense. Instructor and cheerleader for this community of courageous climbers. How can you be both no-nonsense and cheerleader? Isn't the very essence, like the very meaning of cheerleader nonsense?
I'm sitting here listening to you talk.
Rah-rah-ree!
Rah-rah-ree, kicking the knee, rah-rah-ass, kicking the other knee.
Just saying. She started this program called Upending Parkinson's as a nonprofit 12 years ago. There's a lot of balance involved, mobility involved, strength, cardio, and then there's the cognitive part where you have to look at the hold and figure out how to get your body to move to get to that hold. How often do they fall? Falling is definitely part of climbing, said Kupka, but they never really fall because they wear harnesses that provide a layer of safety. You're always on the rope, you fall, but you don't fall far. We always say if you're not falling, you're not trying hard enough. Wow. There's no cure for Parkinson's, which usually affects mobility, coordination, balance, and even speech. John Lesson was diagnosed in 2003. He was once an all-around athlete. About 12 years ago, he retired as a cardiac anesthesiologist because of Parkinson's. His daughter Brittany watched his steady decline until he discovered climbing walls as high as 60 feet.
That's impressive.
My dad has a hard time walking across the room, but he can make it to the top of this giant wall. Wow. There's a lot that he's had to give up because of his disease, but this is something that he found through it, which is really cool. I might send this article to our friends.
Mm-hmm.
John said, I get to the top and I feel like I've conquered something and I feel like the wall can't beat me. I can beat the wall. Full disclosure, the story is very personal to me. My late husband, Aaron Latham, had Parkinson's and boxed as a way to fight the Simpsons. Watch out, Homer! Oh, homie. As he explains on Sunday morning in 2015, boxing's just the opposite of Parkinson's, said Latham. Everything's designed instead of to shrink you, everything's designed to pump you up. John Lesson said Parkinson's makes you feel very small. You make small movements. You're hunched over. And rock climbing makes you feel like you can accomplish the world. It was Lesson who first had that big idea to use rock climbing as a therapy for Parkinson's. I wanted to do big movement exercise, he said, and I found Molly at this gym. Lesson proposed the idea to Molly Kupka, who runs the Sport Rock Climbing Center in Alexandria, Virginia. She thought it was worth a try given the sport requires participants to plan ahead, to know where to position their hands and feet. I wish I could go into the brain and see what's happening while people climb. Maybe I should try this. Some people with Parkinson's, like Vivek Puri, get dyskinesia, involuntary jerky motion. So that's like, wait, I can think of his character name, but Michael J. Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Puri said he's usually unaware of his. He runs a home building company in D.C. area and was only 38 when he found he had Parkinson's. Fine motor skills have kind of really suffering dramatically, he said. When I don't climb for some periods of time, I get worse. But once he gets on the wall, he calls himself Spider-Man. He's got a really good physique, too, so
yeah,
he does well for himself.
Yeah.
Honestly, I climb like a monkey, he said. I get my finger strength moving, which gets my fine motor skills, maybe not back, but kind of keeps that in motion. I think a lot of people give up too easily.
Oh, I think
like,
so,
I
too.
can't do it, so I'm not gonna try.
Life altering and
yeah. I think that's the only reason I'm even walking is I mean, there's days where it hurts so bad. I could just say I'm not going to do it, and I'm like, no, I'd rather be tired and in pain than to not do it.
Right.
And usually once I get up and I am moving, I do feel better.
Right.
There's no evidence climbing slows the progress of Parkinson's, but Kupka joined forces with Marymount University last year to study patients climbing for the first time. We have people literally walking and carrying weights, walking and looking, multitasking, she said. The study found that, in so many words, if you climb, you may walk better. Mark DeMulder, a musician and former director of the National Geospatial Program, doesn't need a study to prove that what climbing does for him. It allows me to say, all right, take that, Parkinson's. I'm doing this. And just makes me feel stronger. And I'm fighting it. I'm doing something about it. They all look so happy, too. Many of the climbers have become friends who climb together several times a week, and they've become a support group, Parkinson's pals, who encourage each other. When I reach the top, I can turn around and look and wave and see my wife and friends, and that's the reward. These are pretty steep cliffs, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's really wonderful. There's no real understanding of how these people can do this, but you can certainly understand why. An emotional Vivek Puri said, "It's nice to be good at something." It's a good story.
Thank you.
I love ways. I always fantasized of owning a horse camp to help children. Yeah.
In bad situations.
Yeah. I love that story. Well, folks, I have so much to be grateful for, and I hope you do too. And I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope you didn't get bonked in the bean with a butterball during your Black Friday endeavors. And we will be here next week as we count down to Christmas. And may you have an amazing week. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for being with us. Have a fantastic week, and we will talk to you again 7 days from now.
God bless.
CounterCultureWISE is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, CounterCultureWISE.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, "Be a guest on our show."
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.